Going to boarding school for the first time is terrifying. You leave your whole life behind to go to a strange new building, filled with people you've never met, oftentimes having to sleep in the same room as someone who could be a crazed murderer. And that's before you think about the non-living residents who could pose just as much of a threat, especially if that resident is a certain once-scorned teacher. Hey guys, it's Freaky Informer, and today we're looking at a paranormal case that you don't hear much about in the West. From origin to encounters to popular culture interpretations, we're going to be looking at a ghost from Africa. Please keep in mind that I am not African and therefore my pronunciations may be a bit off. Also, I got my first dislike this week. How epic is that? Anyways, let's get into it. Despite what you may think of the continent of Africa, there are over 150 boarding schools on the continent. While that is half the amount of the residency schools in the US, it still paints an image of how education is valued in the continent. However, in every boarding school there exists a story which follows a similar trend. In Africa, almost every residency school has some version of Madame Koi Koi. For example, in Ghana, she is known as Madame Mok. The tale of the ghoul originates in Nigeria, with references to the paranormal entity being made from the mid to late 20th century. It is popularly believed that tales of Madame Koi Koi began to come into prominence around the 1960s. The story shares some similarities with The Nightmare on Elm Street, interestingly, despite predating the 1984 film. Each variation of the African ghost's name comes from its appearance, unlike Kruger. However, there is a Nollywood adaptation of this terrifying tale that's just as popular throughout Africa as A Nightmare on Elm Street is in the Western world. Like every great story, this character has an eventful backstory. Madame Koi Koi once had a human form. She was a well-dressed teacher who had always had impeccable nails, makeup, and hair. Most notably, the teacher wore red high heels, which became her signature. Beauty and immaculate dress didn't hide the cruelty of the teacher, however. She was evil, even in life. She'd consistently mistreat students, berating them, and giving them detention for the smallest of reasons. According to legend, it was the teacher's mistreatment of students that got her killed. On one particularly anger-fueled day of hers, the teacher slapped a female student, injuring the student so forcefully in the assault that the student's eardrum ruptured. The injured girl took her story to the principal, with the others in the class backing up her story. The principal was disgusted by the teacher's actions and fired the teacher on the spot. She, the teacher, was ordered to pack her teaching supplies and leave the premises immediately. Not a woman to be scorned, the teacher spat that she would get back at the students for getting her fired. It was the 60s, and corporal punishment was encouraged. However, the injury and caused deafness of an effluent student would have caused problems for the school, which was more than likely the principal's real motive for firing the teacher. Still fuming, the teacher left in her car. On her drive home, she thought of all the ways she would get back at the students. She was so distracted by these vengeful thoughts that the teacher didn't pay enough attention to the road. She was in an awful crash, killed instantly by the force involved. It was such a bad crash that she went straight through the windscreen, her broken body thrown on the ground in front of the wrecked car. Already having sworn revenge, Madame Koi Koi shifted even more blame onto her students, both because of her termination from her job and for the loss of her life. Other iterations of the ghost's origin story put the students as the genuine cause of her death, citing that it was in fact the teacher being abused by the students. In these versions of the tale, students take it upon themselves to abduct their teacher and torture her, presumably because they didn't like homework. However, the students ended up accidentally killing her. Either way, the ghost seeks revenge for her untimely death and focuses her rage upon boarding school students. In the second origin story, Madame Koi Koi began to stalk the halls of the school late at night. Her angered spirit found its way back to the school. One by one, in the dead of night, the wronged ghost began to hunt down the students who took her life. Night after night, students were shredded to pieces in their beds by Madame Koi Koi. Students lay awake at night as the tapping of the ghost's heels echoed throughout the halls. Koi Koi, they clicked in the empty corridors. Her steps began to haunt boarding schools everywhere, and fear of Madame Koi Koi spread. Sightings and stories of Madame Koi Koi have been reported not just in Nigeria, but in Ghana, Cameroon, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Zambia too. It is said that in the dead of night, students who are out of bed incur the once teacher's wrath. However, that's not all a student needs to do to become a target of the vicious Madame Koi Koi. Students who arrive too early for school or too late are also singled out for hunting from her. To some, she has appeared as a full-bodied apparition, and to others, partially bodied. Even though she was the epitome of beauty in life, it's said that in death her ugly personality surfaced. The only trademark of Madame Koi Koi's life that she retained is her high heels, which are still heard clacking around hallways at the dead of night, stalking the corridors for her next unfortunate victim. That's all we have time for today, guys. I know it was a short one, but I genuinely just did not have much time this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode enough to make it this far. Please sign the petition below to ban the colonial enforcement of school kids to shave their heads. The practice has serious roots in racism, and kids shouldn't have to shave their heads to receive an education anyways. There's also a fundraiser below for ACE Charity Africa, who use donations to provide kids with an education. Very important. Please let me know if you enjoyed the episode in the comments, and join my Discord below if you want instant notifications and some insight into my process. Thanks for watching this video and staying up to date. Stay freaky, stay informed. It may save your life.